third meeting of the Sfmet Mandarin English Toastmaster, and I'm happy to see many of you return back. One announcement I actually want to make is thanks to Jenny, we actually have a new meeting location starting in the first week of February. So next week we'll still meet here, actually the next 2 weeks we'll still meet here for 2 more times. Is there anything you want to add, Jenny? The new location? So the new location is actually going to be a lot closer to BART, because we know that this is far from BART, and we know that a lot of you are concerned about the walk. So the new location is actually at 425 Market Street, which is right outside of the Evaluator BART station. And we are also thinking of changing the meeting time, instead of meeting at 7 p.m. to meet from 6:30 to 8 p.m. instead. So if you guys have any concern, let us know. So let's welcome the Toastmaster for today. Let's welcome Ken for the English person.
Great, thank you. So for today's session, we have a full slate of speakers and participants, and we also have the Mandarin session. I'd like to introduce the Mandarin Toastmaster, Tiffany.
Okay, 大家好，我是中文部分的主持人。
And shall we go through the various roles? Have
Okay, sure.
roles introduce themselves? So, for the timer, we have Alberto, an experienced
My name is
Toastmaster.
Alberto Rivas. I am the timer. Usually in Toastmaster there is some card, but we don't have a card, so I just make right now once. For the table topics, it will be 2 minutes. So I will write the whole information. That's meaning, since we don't have time, we say 3 minutes, you have 3, almost close to the 2 minutes. 2, you're almost like 1 minute and a half, and 1 means you're already done. This is going also for the speech. It depends how long the speech is. A speech is usually between 5 to 7 minutes. I will do the same thing. It means you have 7 minutes. This means 6, 5, and already you are done. Time in Toastmaster is really important because you already see how you qualify for how long your speech is going to be prepared, and also you can be able to mentalize how far you can go and be able to provide your speech.
Thank you very much. So we're such a new club, we're actually improvising with our cards. So maybe someday we'll be able to get cards or a signaling device.
Or whatever, connected with cards, whatever.
Exactly. So if you reach the minimum time, you'll see that number 3. And if it's time to stop talking, you'll see that number 1. So wrap up as quickly as possible. Next, we have the op counters in 2 languages. I'll introduce the English op counter, Ling. What is your role? You can stand there and say what you're doing today.
Oh, I'm doing that. I'm introducing the topics that host for the English part.
Okay.
烟是我们中文部分的汉浩官。
我叫杨洋，我主要来就是来帮着大家算有说了多少歇后语、风法之类的。
Shall we move to the first speech? So in the speech portion of our session today, our first speaker will be Arthur. And Arthur will be presenting a speech. Arthur?
A quick question. So, Jeremy will be our general evaluator. The evaluator will change from Jeremy to Chelsea. So Chelsea, you will be evaluating Arthur's speech. Okay.
We have a few last-minute changes today, so hopefully everyone can read this on the board.
General evaluator is Jeremy. Evaluator is Chelsea.
Okay, thank you. And then 中文部分的总评人是 Jenny。
Great.
Kids are. Sorry. For how long do you want to talk?
Oh, sorry?
For how long?
5 to 7 beginnings.
mindset.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Kids are wonderful in so many ways. They see the world with fresh eyes, and they're full of potential. So I'm pretty young, and I haven't got any kids that I'm aware of. But I do have a little brother who just turned 10. He, because we have such a big age gap, and also because my parents are first generation immigrants and not very familiar with how to bring up a kid in American culture, I sort of serve as a brother and also as a part parent role. This means taking him to ball games, play dates, PTA meetings, and also think a lot about how to exactly guide him and navigate him through school and life in general. So whenever I'm hanging out with him, I sort of try to teach him things. But actually what I want to tell you about is the opposite, which is what he has taught me. One thing that everyone does is that we have these habits and things that we do that we're not really aware of. And the thing about kids is that they're tiny imitation machines, and they will suck in and observe everything you do, and they'll start to copy it, which is actually very scary because they'll copy both the good and the bad. This kind of occurred to me because of this one incident at dinner where Zeki said something about an animal that's obviously not true, like hippos travel long distances for migration or something. And my parents, of course, said, "Oh, really? I didn't know that." And I remember Zeki saying, "Of course you don't. You don't even speak English." And I was kind of startled and taken back because, one, my parents do speak English, just not that fluently, and two, it's kind of disrespectful. So, I was thinking, like, where did he get that from? How come this happened, right? And actually, it turned out, I think it's my fault. So, because I grew up here and I'm pretty familiar with American culture and what's going on, how to do a lot of things. Sometimes I really think, I just kind of get frustrated and dismissive with my parents and just say, "Oh, it's okay, or it doesn't matter, or I'll do it," and things like that. And that's, I think, my little brother is kind of picking up on this attitude I have, which is sort of snobby and maybe disrespectful to my parents. But he doesn't realize the other side of things, which is I know that this is because they give up a lot of the easy life and moved here and had to go through all this trouble that I have all these opportunities. But Zeki doesn't know that, so that's pretty bad in my opinion. So then, so what happened here is that Zeki, because of his behavior, showed me what I was doing subconsciously, and that led me to address it and really think about what my attitude to my parents is. The other thing that's very interesting about kids is that they're completely irrational and they're very short-sighted. Whether or not they get the ice cream in the next 30 seconds is a matter of life or death in a lot of cases. And so it's very funny to me when my parents try to reason with them on something because it's just no way they're going to win. For example, they'll try to say, "All right, you should eat a carrot because it's good for you." And of course that's not going to work because he thinks it's disgusting. He doesn't really care if it's good for him or not. And so, to kids, feelings are very important. But on the other hand, what I notice I tend to do is that I tend to dismiss his feelings. We'll start walking somewhere, and after a few steps, he'll say, "Hey, I'm tired." And my first instinct is, "Oh, come on, we just got started. Suck it up and keep walking. You can't be tired." But then this actually gets nowhere because he'll actually just insist that, "Oh, I am tired, and this is terrible," and then we'll have an argument, and no one's happy. What I've sort of learned is that it works better if I just say, acknowledge the feelings. So I say, "Hey, I know it's tired and we have a long way to go, but you get candy when you make it," or something. And that kind of motivates him a bit, and seems to be pretty well because he knows that I believe he's tired, but he'll think about it and be like, "Okay, I'll keep walking." So, this is kind of this important lesson because I think it applies for more than just kids. People say that adults are really just kids with money, and so no one really likes getting their feelings denied or told that their feelings are not valid, and that has been a very important lesson in other parts of life as well. So, there are really some things that only kids can teach you. there's a lot to be learned from them. I think the two examples I give from my own experience are probably just scratching the surface. What really makes it very easy for all of us to take on these things is that we keep in mind two very childlike characteristics, which is just to be observant and to be open-minded, and there are tons of things we can learn from little kids. Thanks.
Great, thank you very much. I very much enjoyed your talk, and that is certainly a topic that we're all familiar with from our friends and relatives and ourselves, children. So, for the next speaker, as we alternate guests.
So actually, before we move on to the next speaker, each of you actually have 2 evaluation papers. We'll use the next 1 minute for everyone to evaluate Arthur's speech. So, Alberto, if you don't mind, can you help us start timing?
Sure.
1 minute at a time.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, this is the icebreaker speech. It's the first.
Second.
Oh, second? Speech number 2.
Okay, we have our time for the evaluations. Next, I'd like to present Tiffany, who will introduce our next speaker.
Yeah. Kathy 是我们中文部分的演讲人，她演讲的题目是珍惜妈妈的爱。我们欢迎 Kathy。
大家好啊，请问大家有没有时候跟你的妈妈吵架？我常常有，从小到大，我都会说妈妈做的哪个不好，这个不好。直到2年前，09年9月，我生了一个小女孩，她叫莹莹，她是一个早产儿，她要待在医院的生理处境。将是8个星期，在那8个星期，我每天早上8时到下午3时都到医院去照顾她。而我的妈妈从早上到市场去买菜给我做晚饭，到下午3时多，她就会来医院接我回家。因为我和我的老公只有一部车子，而且他的家跟我们的家有20分钟车程，所以他每天都会来接我回家。从那个时候我知道他对我的爱是无价的付出，我很感激他对我的爱。不过有时候我也会对他的行为做得不好，跟他吵架。到最后有一天，我为我1岁多的女孩做晚饭，我花了大半天的时间给她做晚饭，她以后都没有吃，就一手打翻了我给她做的晚饭。我这时候很 气和相信。我到那个时候才知道，妈妈为我做的一切是很多，我应该很感激她对我的爱。所以我在此请大家好好感激妈妈对我们的爱。谢谢。
谢谢 Kathy， 我觉得她的演讲很好，因为她演讲的题目是蛮有意思的，因为她提醒我们要珍惜我们妈妈的爱。So right now is the evaluation part. So again, we'll use the next 1 minute. So to give the time for all of you guys to evaluate Kathy's speech. So the 1 minute is up. So hang on to your evaluation. At the end, we'll collect them and we'll hand them to Kathy and also the author.
To move on with the meeting, the next portion is the table topics portion. And today we have Dan as the table topics master. So I'd like to call Dan up here. And of course, it is important because we're a new club for the table topics master to just in a sentence or so explain what is table topics, and then also ask the members if there's anyone who would not like to participate. So please, welcome.
This is my first time to Toastmaster back 2 years. And the new year has come, but the Chinese New Year is coming. This year is the Dragon Year, it's a huge year. And there are lots of topics about 2012. It seems like a huge or it overwhelmed. So now our topic is about 2012. The first question is, what are the wishes of your 2012 year? The wishes. Best wish or something. What would you like to do, or what's your dream in this year? Who would like to talk about it?
I can call him. So
Best wishes.
yeah. So in 2012, I actually have a lot of resolution. One of my biggest resolution is definitely to improve on my communication skill, English and definitely Mandarin. Even though I'm not fluent in Mandarin, Mandarin has always been on my top list to really improve on the skills, because I know that Mandarin Chinese is actually a very popular language, especially in the business world today or in any other aspects in our life. So one actually resolution that I actually took action on is definitely to join the club. Thanks to Jenny for introducing me to the club. And also I'm trying my best to really force myself to speak Mandarin. Even though I'm a newbie into this, you can see that I actually really took the big risk of my life to to stand the embarrassment by just forcing myself out to speak Mandarin. So that is definitely my biggest wish. And I'm hoping that it's different from the past few years, that I don't just talk the talk and not walk the walk, because that's something I like to do by writing a whole bunch of resolutions, and I never tend to complete any of them. So this year I'm hoping that all the resolutions I have written down
what's the prediction of this year? You know, now the economic crisis and different kind of, I don't know. So what do you think about this? I think the world is, it looks like not so good, but the life is still there. So what do you think about it? Prediction or something?
Madam, fellow Toastmaster, I don't believe in predictions. Our destiny is controlled by ourselves. The pundits like to imagine things, make crises and make things. The 2012 is the end of the year, according to the Maya. Who knows? Right? Also, the politicians like to create crises, and therefore the crisis is good for the politicians. The people who work in the economic like to impact the crisis too, because crisis is good for education. So therefore, I remove from my head predictions. I can predict what's happening in a few minutes, but I cannot predict about my future. No one knows. Most of the time, we play lottery, we play thing, we go to someone who's really wise, who has wisdom, and we ask, what is your prediction? Then everybody said, nothing good. It's all the same. Even if you get your fortune cookie, you open up and you're expecting you're going to get something different. However, life is too short. Life is good. Life is beautiful. And I think whatever people invented in 2012, many years before, it was some kind of prediction to make us to think about. He said something really, Arthur said something about kids. We were really kids. They taught us, he who learns teaches. This is a really old proverb. And we still need to keep those kind of things we're learning every day, since our childhood until who knows. That's the reason predictions to me is business. Thank you very much.
Next is, what's your goal of this year? Goal. Okay.
Good evening, Toastmasters. My goal for this year is to improve my sense of direction and timing, because I always have problems with timing and directions. For example, this evening, I planned to get here on time, so I left work early, and I come from the South Bay, so I took the BART, I got up, and I ran as far as I could, and I got into the building, and I sat down in a room where people were getting together in chairs, and I thought, this is great, I'm early for one time. And someone turned to me and said, well, what are you doing here? And I said, I'm here to improve my Chinese. And they said, really? This is a marketing meeting for you guys. Chinese. Anyway, so I want to improve my sense of place. I have to say this isn't the first time I've done this. When I was in China, I lived in China for 6 years, and my company sent me out on business trips. And one time I was sent to actually Sweden on a business trip for a law company, and I went, and I went to the company, shook hands, sat in the meeting room, gave a presentation on my company, and then afterwards the gentleman said, why did you come so early? And I looked down, I was at the wrong company. So this has happened to me more than once. And so timing and the right sense of direction is what I will do to improve myself this year, and I hope I can meet you all in doing that. Thank you.
Okay, the last one is, if the end of 2012 were true, so what would you like to be? Seems like we are now in the boat. The world is over, will be over, and a new world will come. What would you like to be animal, plant, humor, anything you like to be. It's just like an imaginary questions.
Okay. Someone who wants to work on their English?
Volunteer.
Somebody want to try English?
Choose a pick. One
Okay,
question.
how about
Excellent.
Renee?
I'm sorry, could you say your question?
Oh yeah, if the ADO 2012 were true, then
What was true?
yeah,
Oh, the end of the world.
yeah. So what would you like to be like anything?
What would I like to be?
So you know like you like the ADO world, you know.
Okay.
At the end of 2000 years, the world is over. So what would you like to be in a new, totally new world?
The new world.
Wow.
If I got your question correct, the end of the world has come and a new world has come into being.
Yes.
And I would like to be in this new world if I were to be reincarnated. I would love to be, I imagine, reincarnated as a phoenix. Phoenix is one of the legendary animals in the Chinese culture. They're highly revered, mythical creatures with great power. And I like to think of myself as a little power hungry sometimes, and really beautiful with pretty wings. So I like to think of myself as really pretty with pretty wings, and I would love to be a phoenix in this new world.
So thank you very much for that. For pushing yourself to do the table topics in English. That was very successful. Thank you very much. Next, Tiffany for the Mandarin.
邦尼是我们中文部分的执行演讲主持人，我们欢迎邦尼。
谢谢 Tiffany。今天我准备了一些很好玩的问题，你们大概有1到2分钟回答我的问题。如果你只知道一点点普通话的话，我也鼓励你们来参加。今天的主题是精彩的过去。你还记得你工作的第一天吗？我想请 Chelsea。
You can't totally get on the stage.
请你再念一下。
你可以跟我们讲一讲你工作的第一天吗？
你好，我是 Chelsea。现在我在东华医院工作，已经过了3年。我不太清楚记得第一天，因为我觉得每一天不一样，所以每一天是新天，就像我第一天来，我觉得这个看法，有这个看法，会让我觉得我的工作很有意思。其实每一天有不一样的问题，有不一样的可以学的东西。在东华医院，其他的人都在那里很久，所以我在那里觉得我自己很年轻。最近有其他的年轻人来工作在 我想帮他们有好的技能，好的喜欢在动画里面，我的脑跑去，对不起，如果我在那里工作10年20年，我希望我可以觉得每一天是像我第一天有这个希望做很多东西，希望学很多东西。
谢谢 Chelsea。我记得我工作的第一天是蛮紧张的，因为我不知道我要做什么，然后我也不知道有没有朋友跟我吃饭，所以第一天是，我很记得我工作的第一天。然后下一条问题就是，你还记得你的第一辆车子吗？车子 好。
大家好，我叫吴优，英文名字叫Adam。然后问题是我有没有记得我的第一辆车，是不是？对。我16岁的时候我考驾照，就考过了，然后我爸爸妈妈就送我一辆旧车，就是一辆Toyota，应该是83年的 Toyota， 然后比较旧的。破烂烂的，然后，但是它是那个手动挡，不是自动挡。我没有什么，我学的都是自动挡，我没有学过手动挡。所以他们送我这辆车的时候，我其实我不会开它，所以虽然我已经学会开车呢，我已经得到我的驾照，但是我还不会开自己的车。我过了可能2个星期，我就很辛苦的、很努力的学习，然后终于学会用这个手动挡。然后可能过了2-3个星期，我就有一小小的车祸，然后应该是我的错的，我闯红灯呢，然后另外一辆车就从旁边来撞我，但是没有人受伤，因为我的车有可能从那天以后就更烂。
我也记得我第一辆车子是自动的，现在的都是自动的，我不可以开手动的车。然后接下来就是你还记得当你第一次使用电脑吗？我想请
请你再说。
哦，当你第一次使用电脑。
我不太清楚我第一次用电脑是什么时候，但是我还是记得我小时候经常用的电脑游戏，就是那个原来的 SimCity， 不是那个 SimCity SimCity 2000，那个是以后的，就是原来的 SimCity。然后我这个游戏我整天可以玩，有的时候我应该去睡觉的时候，我偷偷的继续玩，一直到太阳出来了，玩8-9个小时。 这个游戏呢，SimCity 就是你要自己创造一个城市，你要盖路啊，盖大楼啊，还要做一个警察，那个怎么说呢 ？firefighter 就是反对火的那个，还有这个城市的地还有山也有水，你要如果船要送你的城市东西啊，你要给那个船做一个码头，然后如果你的山陡，你的路也要做很弯的路，所以有很多这些很有意思的问题。然后我长大了以后，我开始用电脑为了做工作，就没有小时候很好玩。
谢谢跟我们的分享。然后最后一条问题就是，你还记得你在学校的第一天吗？
我上中文朋友做了一个手。大家好，今天是我第一次来参加这个bilingual的 Toastmaster。那上学的第一天，我觉得应该是幼稚园吧。我家住的非常近幼稚园，大概5分钟，我可以自己走。很长时候我是自己走去上学的，因为我妈妈是幼稚园的院长，所以我对幼稚园是这个学校是蛮熟悉的，所以我第一天上课其实并没有什么特别，因为我常常都在学校跟着我妈妈，就在那里玩啊，然后就跟老师一起啊，所以就觉得有什么新奇。可是不管怎样，第一天上课还是好玩的，因为有认识很多新的朋友，然后也可以学习很多新的东西。那还有呢，就非常的有趣，我觉得。那这是我记得的第一天去上幼稚园，谢谢。
Okay, thank you very much.
谢谢 Bobby， 我觉得他的问题真的很好玩。我们现在邀请我们的中文部分的演讲评述员 Jenny， 我们欢迎 Jenny。
Good evening, everyone. I'm very glad to be the General Evaluator for Mandarin session. I'd like to invite the English General Evaluator to join me. Jeremy, come to the podium. So Jeremy will invite the evaluators for the English session, give time, grammar to give reports while I doing the evaluation, host the evaluation session for Mandarin session.
We're doing English first?
Yeah, yes.
The first thing we're going to do for the English side of the evaluation is have the prepared speech evaluation, which is done by Chelsea. So everyone please welcome me and join Chelsea. We clapped the whole way for people in here. I know it's a lot.
So I want to thank you, Arthur, for giving us a second speech this week. I thought it was a great speech, and I also wanted to commend you for stepping up to the plate twice in a row. So, in you coming to give these two speeches, I feel like we've gotten the chance to get to know you, Arthur, better as a person. And I know I'm aware as for the icebreaker speech that one of the purposes is to let people know a little bit more about you. And for the second speech, it is to practice organization. So I do just want to take a step back and talk a little bit about both these speeches that we've heard. So the first one last week, Arthur gave in Chinese and talked about about the challenges of public speaking. And what I thought was interesting and somewhat ironic about that is that here he was talking about the challenges of public speaking while he was publicly speaking. And then again, this week, in his second speech, he talked about the lesson that he learned from his younger brother to be open-minded and observant. And again, here he is, I think, demonstrating that he is open-minded and wanting to observe himself more, improve himself more, and also it's clear from these two topics that you have shared with us that you do have a desire to communicate, to understand yourself better, understand others better, and in that way improve your communication and also your ability to connect with other people. So specifically for the speech today, what I thought that you did really well, which was the same as last week as well, is that you seem very comfortable up here in front of people, and I really like how Arthur has just this very bright, smiling presence here, and not only smiles with his mouth, but with his eyes and his whole demeanor. So I think his voice is also very soft and inviting and friendly, which makes it a pleasure to listen to. The other thing that I thought that you did also well was that your gestures are very natural. And one thing I noted in particular, not only with your hands, I don't remember at what point Arthur did this, but something with his shoulders too. It sort of demonstrated some emphasis, and I liked that. I also think that not only I, but others enjoyed the humor that Arthur incorporated into his speech. I heard some laughter with some of the jokes that were peppered throughout the speech. So a few things now that I think that you might play with in the future for other speeches would be with eye contact. So, like I said, I do believe that you have a very inviting face and presence and presentation, but I do notice that there's a bit of a hesitation to actually connect with people for a longer period of time. And I know that it is difficult to give a speech, and sometimes you're thinking about things so the eyes can go up, but if you wanted to just practice looking at people like I'm not doing, that would be great. The other aspect that you might play with as well is with voice. I think that you do have a very inviting voice, but also using maybe some inflection to emphasize certain aspects of the speech would be great. And also, again, I mean, these are just suggestions for play, and I think that we can all do this, is to step outside of our comfort zone and outside of the things that we're already good at, because this is the chance to do it. So even with gestures and whatnot, as we're relating stories to demonstrate with our bodies and whatnot, and that might be something to, like I said, play with. So overall, I'm just very impressed by your ability to talk about things that you want to become better at while you're doing it, and your desire to improve your public speaking, improve your communication skills, improve your ability to understand others in yourself is clear in just your being here. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Chelsea.
谢谢 Chelsea。现在我们的 format 总是先是英文的，然后再是中文的。现在我们进行中文对语部分的评估。我很高兴来评估 Cassie 的演讲。 这是开始的第一个演讲。第一个演讲的目标很简单，就是站在这儿跟大家介绍一下你自己，让大家对你有点了解。然后开始也做得非常好，他用了技巧，所以他只有一条很清晰的信息，我们很容易跟随这条信息。有的时候我们做一个演讲的时候，把这个演讲写得很简单，让大家都能听懂，不容易。很多人都把它做得非常复杂，一会儿讲这个，一会儿讲那个，不知道到底是他要给我们送哪一个信息。开始做得非常好，我感到听他的演讲的时候，就好像看到一条红线从头到尾都能够跟随他，就是妈妈的爱。所以我推荐你以后你继续使用这项很强的地方，就是每次都把这个 speech 有一个非常清晰的信息。然后他的讲的时候，演讲的技巧也很好，他看大家观众朝我们大家看，他一共只用了一次，看他的笔记。在我们演讲的手册当中，一共要做10个演讲。第一个演讲是向大家介绍你自己，第二个演讲要条理清晰，他已经能够做到第二个演讲的目标，他的条理很清晰。所以我非常喜欢你的演讲，我期待听到你的第二个演讲。谢谢。现在我在这里
Thank you. I wasn't sure what was going on there. I didn't understand some of the words that were saying. I didn't catch all of it, and I didn't know that was actually the speech evaluation. We're going to invite the functionaries to give their functionary reports for the English side of the meeting. Starting off with our timer, Alberto. If you could please stand in place and give everyone their times.
For the first speaker, Arthur, his speech was 5 minutes, 24 seconds. David Toppings, Kathy, 2 minutes, 20 seconds. Table topic, Tiffany, 1 minute, 18 seconds. Alberto, 1 minute, 54 seconds. Unfortunately, I don't catch them. It would be really nice if we said our names in the beginning because, I don't know, it's, table topic number 3, it was yours, 1 minute, 42 seconds. The 4 was 1 minute, 45 seconds, no, 41 seconds, 5 milliseconds. So in total, table topic, you need to talk between 1 to 2 minutes. If you don't qualify, you spot less than 2 minutes. So it's really important to keep the range between 1 to 2 minutes. And in English table topic, the Mandarin by Bonnie Chelsea was 2 minutes 25 seconds. The second was 1 minute 33 seconds. The third, 1 minute 38 seconds. The fourth was 1 minute 9 seconds. The evaluation part by Chelsea, I was really permissive because I think the evaluation is pretty good to listen because it's something which will improve, but in Toastmaster is between 2 to 3 minutes. We need to be able to condense the whole information in short time. She talked for 4 minutes, 45 seconds. It's okay, it's fine. And Jenny for 1 minute, 33 seconds.
Thank you. Next up is our awe counter, Lai Ling. I'm sorry. No?
Well, actually, I was a little confused earlier when you said the rules because I saw her doing that with the Alzheimer, so I thought. I volunteered for last week.
Don't worry about it. We can just escape. We can do it all kind of next time.
Yeah, that's fine.
I counted the topic answers after I saw that she was doing the other part.
The Chinese side of the meeting?
The English side.
Oh.
So I do have the topic counters, but I did miss part.
Why don't you stand up and give us what you have? Let us know which portion of the meeting it's for.
I shouldn't come late anymore. So for the topics, Tiffany, I didn't count any, I didn't find any odds or. And then the second topic,
You had 9 ups. The fourth one, 9.
Thank you. And then lastly is our grammarian Philip.
Okay, this is my turn, huh? Okay, so I think for Arthur, I think overall, I didn't really detect any real significant grammar errors. There was one that I thought that when he was referring to his parents, he used the word "they give up," and I thought he meant "they gave up" with a GA, but so that's one that I thought maybe a plus minus. And I noticed that he used sort of a few times. And then there's another word, I think really, those two words you got. Technically, I don't think they're grammatical mistakes, but sometimes if you use different words, might kind of freshen up the speech, especially when you use it several times in a row. With the topic masters, table topics, the first two people went up, I didn't hear. I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name. Lynn? With Lynn, the only thing that I thought I might have heard was, I think after the conclusion, we said timing and right sense of direction, and we used the word is. I think even are, but that might be the one thing that might have been a grammatical. Maybe, but I'm not too entirely sure. Those three ones. That was all I was able to pick up.
Thank you. I'm going to turn it back to the other side of the meeting for the functionary roles.
这样大家刚才看到了，我们每次演讲会的会议都有3个部分。第一个部分是准备好的演讲，今天 Oster 和 Cassie 给我们做了很好的演讲。这些演讲是事先准备好的，你可以选择任何你喜欢的话题。然后第二个部分呢是即兴演讲。即兴演讲主持人他会问你一个问题，你答1到2分钟，这样培养你能够现场反应的能力。第3个部分呢就是评估，就是我们现在正在进行的。因为你每次上了演讲，你可能自己都不知道有哪些优点，然后通过评估员已经让你知道。而且我们还有一些助手，比如说时间观、文法观、哼哈观，能告诉你用了哪些不必要的词。即使我们用很多不必要的词都没有关系，你就会注意到，那你每次参加会议用的这些不必要的词就会越来越少。今天我对整个会议做一个现在我对整个会议做个评价，我很喜欢今天的会议，因为我非常佩服大家的勇气。今天是他第一次参加会议，他就担当了即兴演讲主持人。然后我们这个演讲会刚刚成立3个星期。你们很多人都是第一次尝试一个角色，是非常不容易的。而且当你在一个陌生的观众面前讲话的时候，更加不容易。就是我站在这儿，我都感觉好像不像我在我的另外一个演讲会讲话自然。但是呢，你每个星期都来参加这些会议，然后你跟大家就越来越熟悉，你会感到你能够越来越自在的发挥。谢谢大家的参与。现在我来邀请英文部分的总评估员来对会议进行评估。Jeremy, now it's your turn to make some comments about the whole meeting.
Oh, thank you. I totally knew it was my turn before she said it in English. So as the general evaluator, I think this is the first time we've had this role in the club. Basically, my job is to evaluate the meeting just like how the speech evaluators evaluated the first speeches that we heard today. So the first thing that happened at our meeting is we started at 7:07, and that's 7 minutes later than we're supposed to. And in Toastmasters, one of the things that we're really big on is making sure that we start on time, because people really value their time and tend to get pissy when you violate it. So that's something we can improve on next time, is just starting at 7 o'clock right away. Our Toastmaster for the English side, Ken. By the way, I'm going to be focusing mostly on the English side of things, not because I don't understand the other side, but just because that's what my job is this time. So the Toastmaster for the English side, Ken, you did a great job of welcoming everyone into the meeting and setting a very warm tone. That makes people open up because they feel more comfortable. It's sort of like you were a great host tonight. You let everyone know where they should sit. You offered them something to drink. You didn't just stand there awkwardly and let them figure things out. So you did a really good job with that. I like how Ken and Tiffany were trading stage time when they were both up here. It was sort of like a little comedy duo hosting some variety show or something. You guys did a good job with that. And Ken, I want to commend you on giving such great prompting when you invited people up. I don't know if you guys noticed or not, but when he invited up table topics, he didn't just say, okay, table topics, it's your turn, let's go. He said, why don't you come up here and give everyone a brief explanation of what to expect from table topics. That way, he kept himself looking professional. Nobody knew that he was really giving an instruction, but at the same time, he gave exactly the message that he needed to deliver to the table topics master, which led for a smooth table topics. My recommendations for next time would be you want to talk with the person who you're Toastmaster with before the meeting. Most Toastmaster meetings, we don't have 2 Toastmasters, we just have 1. But since you guys have 2, you have to get your story straight and make sure you know the order you're going to do things. We had, after the first speech, Tiffany had to come running down and say, oh, wait a minute, actually, let's give everyone a minute to write something down on their piece of paper. That's the kind of thing that we want to get rid of so that way we look even more polished on the next meeting. And then the other thing is, you 2 guys were right around here the whole time, and since you're the only one standing, everyone is on this part of the room, but you're kind of in the stage, like right now even, you guys are kind of in the stage, and especially if I'm really going crazy and I'm giving some kind of speech, and I walk over here, well suddenly you guys are a part of my speech. So I would suggest the Toastmaster maybe sits down in the corner, or in the front here, or in the front there, but probably not all the way up in the front of the stage. Dan, for table topics, I loved your story in the beginning. You gave a quick, succinct little intro that gave us relevancy and made it so that way everyone else had a chance to talk. Sometimes people talk too long on table topics, and you did a great job of making sure that that didn't happen. The one suggestion I would have for next time is in table topics, we like to say table topics is your chance to make everyone in the room sweat. Because you get to ask the question, look at everyone in the eyes, see who's really nervous, and then pick that person. So if you ask for volunteers, you give away all of that power. As the table topics master, you have a chance to decide who speaks. And so some of the things you can do include looking through the room and seeing who has a role. So for instance, if I know you don't have a role, you're one of the people that's in my running for table topics. Some people that do have a role, I probably wouldn't pick on because I know they're going to be speaking already. And then finally, Chelsea, with your evaluation at the end. That was a great positive and constructive feedback. For a first-time evaluation, that was amazing. I'd like to give her a round of applause. In an evaluation, you have a short amount of time. Sometimes it's longer than others, which is fine, but you have a short amount of time to pack in as much information as you can to help the speaker grow as a speaker. This means telling them things that worked well and things that didn't work well, and being specific about it. You were very specific, and that was great. You also mentioned some stuff about connecting with the audience. You didn't just tell the speaker, hey, next time eye contact in this way or in that way would be better. You actually pointed out how connecting with the audience is a whole thing, and eye contact is one specific thing that can be very powerful in connecting with the audience. So I commend you on that. That was a great job. I also had a line I wanted to point out when you said, you made a suggestion and you said something you might play with in the future. That's a very kind way of saying, here's a step you need to take to becoming an even better speaker. And phrasing like that when you're an evaluator can make all the difference. I'm going to pass it back to who now? To the Toastmaster. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Jeremy, for that wonderful master evaluation session today.
So before we close out the meeting, we actually like to use this time to get volunteers for next week's meeting. So who actually would like to be Toastmaster for the English session next week? And I actually want to encourage those that never took on any roles to volunteer themselves.
And before we go along with selecting volunteers, I do want to talk about volunteering. These meetings are participation. Everyone's learning. I'm learning about doing a back and forth Toastmasters. And if you've never done the role before, hopefully every meeting we're going to have everyone speaking at every meeting as this club really gets rolling along. So you're going to be involved. Volunteers for English Toastmaster?
Do you want to be the English Toastmaster? Okay, sure. What is your name? Please. Okay, if you're the Toastmaster, you want to take notes and update the agenda, and also print out the agenda.
And in fact, we or someone in the club will help you. So if you have questions, we'll work on being Toastmaster with you.
Thanks, David. What about the Mandarin Toastmaster?
Come on,
I'm going to start calling people. What about Chelsea?
Okay.
Okay, so she's going to be the Mandarin Toastmaster. Chelsea. So next is the speaker. Who would like to give an English speech? Okay, Alberto. Alberto would like. What about Mandarin speech? Do you want to give a speech, Nancy? Sure. What is your name?
Ben.
Ben? Okay, Ben will be the Mandarin speaker. Moving on to the speech evaluator. Who would like to evaluate Alberto's speech in English?
I'll do that.
You do that? Okay, Ken will be the speech evaluator. What about the Mandarin speech for Ben? Anyone wants to give it a try?
So the next meeting will be the 20th
Yeah.
day. Which day?
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Which day?
25th.
25th.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, we'll be out.
Oh, you'll be out? Okay. So we actually need another English speaker.
I can do the first, February the 1st.
Okay, thanks. What about the English speech? Anyone else want to do English speech? Since Alberto is going to be out. Okay, gang. Who actually wants to evaluate Ben's speech in Mandarin? Okay, Arthur. What about table topic speaker in English next week?
Get to ask questions.
Philip, you want to do English, right? Well, what about the Mandarin part? I can follow you. Does anyone want to do timer? And then one timer for both English and Mandarin. Will you be here next week? No. What about you? No?
We'll be here next week.
You guys won't be?
We'll be here the next time.
Okay. What about Catherine?
I'm not sure I'm very good.
Oh, you have jury duty. What about
I think some roles like timer we can actually fill on the day.
Oh,
Usually
on the
there's
day?
someone.
Okay,
So
sure. Timer, yeah. What about general evaluator for English and for English? Anyone, any experienced Toastmaster would like to volunteer for that role?
I could do the English if I have to take two roles.
I can take it.
You can take it. Okay, Jenny can be the general evaluator.
Very good.
Yeah. And then for our counter and grammarian, anyone wants to volunteer for those? If not, we'll just find volunteers on the day out.
We can fill roles at the meeting and make sure that everyone present gets to speak, because I see many faces here that I haven't heard from today. So it'd be great to get everyone involved, even if it's for a 1 or 2 minute table topics, or if it's for a 1 minute timer report. It would be great to hear everyone.
So before we close out the meeting, I just want to remind everyone, whoever wants to join as a Toastmaster, please contact Kathy, who is our VP of membership. Please submit an application to her and also give the membership fee. And I think currently we have 10 members who already signed up, right? But we need an extra 10 members to sign up in order to establish the club. And
So we'll soon make us. Yeah, you first.
我意识到了中文部分呢，就是那个欧南的那个职位，就是今天的。
哦，还
啊，
好
我们记录了。
哦 ，OK，请你跟我们报告一下。
有趣。我觉得这个是个很有意思的位置，因为我今天发现每个人在他
就是想法不连续的时候，他用什么样的方式来去连贯他的谈话。然后发现凯西，因为凯西呢，就是他会看他的讲演稿，完了他会向上看，他中间没有任何的就是这种的这种词语。然后吴优呢，我觉得他说话是一个非常连贯的人，然后他会有我就看是他1、2个我觉得非常的好。然后Chelsea 呢，我觉得 Chelsea 的很多，但是我觉得很自然。我觉得知道这种是不是？因为我发现，因为我也注意他的这个英文演讲，他英文演讲也有尤其是每一句话最后的那个部分，他都会一下。但是我觉得这样就是会给大家一个思考的一个过程，就是大家都会停顿一下。然后 Jenny 我也听了他的这个中文评论那部分，我发现 Jenny 连贯的时候，他就是呼吸，比如说，这个。然后呼吸一下，然后这位先生呢，他的这个呢就是重复，比如说他会一个词的时候，他就说比如说这个游戏，他会这个游戏，他会就是 repeat 他这个重复他这个单词，这就是我今天的发现。
So I want to just tell everyone our club is very collaborative. I encourage each of you to take a role to participate. Only when you participate, so when we have great speakers, you can learn more from them. Next week, we have a distinguished speaker. So at Toastmasters, it's just like play tennis. If you win at your club level, you can compete at the next level. So at Toastmasters, we compete at the club, then area, division, district. So next week, we have the district speech champion, which is among the Great Bay Area, among more than 200 Toastmaster clubs. He won the first place evaluation speech. His name is Chris Nick. So he will be here next Wednesday's speaker. He's the third speaker. And this is just the beginning. We have more great speakers follow on. Tiffany invited another distinguished Toastmaster. So try to take a role, no matter it's as a Toastmaster or as a speaker, timer, accountant. So when you hear those great speakers, when they give tips, then it will really resonate with you. That's what I want to tell you. And our meeting actually ends at 8:30. The remaining time is a Q&A session hosted by Jeremy. Let's welcome him.
Oh, thank you. Do it 3 times, you start feeling like nobody likes you, they won't clap for you. So we have time for a short question and answers. This is for any kind of question you may have. So if this is your first time at Toastmasters in general, you can ask a question about the whole organization or about the club in particular. Also, before we get started, I'd like to ask, if this is the first time you've been in the room with us, starting on this side of the room over here, please stand up for a minute and just tell us who you are, how you found out about the club, maybe what you hope to get out of it. 10, 15, 30 seconds most. I think you're the first new person on this side over here.
Okay, I'm sorry. My name is Lynn, and I'm actually returning Toastmaster. I was a Toastmaster in Beijing for 2 years, and I resettled in the Bay Area, so I want to join and participate in Toastmasters because I learned a lot, and I also was in the Toastmasters debate. And again, I think it's one of the best ways to learn to be public speaking and to be able to communicate with people in any language. So that's my introduction.
Thank you. And I believe it's your first time here, right?
Yeah, I don't feel super normal.
Okay, that's fine. Would you like to introduce yourself in the middle? Yes.
Sure. My name's Adam. Should I say that first?
Yes, please.
Okay. My name's Adam. I heard about the club just online, and I'm always looking for ways. Maybe I'm looking at it as a way of improving my Chinese skill, but also, as a method of making new friends and just kind of exploring what the city has to offer.
Great, thank you.
I know this from my husband. Actually, I was a Mandarin teacher in China.
Thank you. That's awesome.
You look at me.
Going down this way.
Okay, my name is Sao. I come here tonight because of my daughter. I just come from your city and visit.
Oh, wow.
I
Well, it's good to have you. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Josh. I'm sorry that I was late. I hope I didn't interrupt anybody by knocking on the window. I heard about the club through meetup.com, and I'm interested in coming back. It was really nice to see a group of people enthusiastically sharing comments about each other's speech, and I hope to come back and improve my Mandarin. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Booth. I heard about the club in Chelsea, and I like speaking Chinese a lot. It's a lot of fun. It makes me happy, and I hope to come back, although I have a conflict on most Wednesdays, so I might not be able to come very often.
Oh, we're happy to have you tonight. Thank you. I think I've covered everyone, right? You've all been here before. We don't care about you. So does anyone have any questions about the meeting?
Someone.
Oh, we did?
Here.
Oh, but you had a role, so.
Oh, okay.
I also skipped you because you had a role also. So if you came up and spoke already, then we already know who you are. So does anyone have any questions about Toastmasters? Yes.
I have a suggestion actually for what I'd hope to see in future meetings. Since it seems like the sort of the bread and butter is sort of the table topics. That's when everybody kind of gets up and speaks kind of extemporaneously, and I thought that was a great section. I really enjoyed that. But I would hope to see that actually a little bit more time spent on that. Maybe have like 2 people answer each question instead of just one, or have more questions prepared. That way, I feel like it would give people an opportunity to speak more. Because I felt like, you know, if I had a chance to like think about a topic a little bit, just a half second longer, then I would probably volunteer for some more. So I think that would be good to see. And I guess, because you know, the meeting, you guys have the meeting very kind of official. You know, you've got everybody's role, and you know, sort of invite people up and everybody claps and all that kind of stuff, and that's great. But I feel like that also takes a lot of time. That might be better spent speaking.
Yeah, it does. It kind of depends on the club. Some clubs run things very differently. Some clubs there's actually a club called Point of Order, which is just about being professional and keeping things on time and very formally doing things. Maybe you guys might find that as a club you don't need quite as much of that. That just takes time for the club to figure out as they develop.
Sure.
We haven't even chartered yet, so we need more members to actually sign up and become members before we start tinkering with everything that much. But I'm glad that you're interested, and I like your suggestion. Thank you. Yes?
Can I add to Adam's suggestion? I really like your suggestion. Interestingly, 2 more people, senior people, give the same suggestion. One is Chelsea's mom, Elliot. She's also a speech champion, human speech champion. She asked us to make the impromptu speech session longer. Another is Rita Barber, asking the same suggestion. So we were doing this, try to make right now we have 4 English impromptu speaker, 4 Mandarin impromptu. We can increase the number, so we'll do that.
So basically, your mom and my mom want us to do that. So I think we'll probably do that.
My mom was here.
Yes?
Yes, I think I like this club for 2 reasons. Number one, this is like a startup. This is a lot of chaos. A lot of the people doesn't know what to do. But in the long run, you will see the benefits. Probably right now, people are so confused. What is my role? What I want to do? Identity in one club is really important. And I think this club have identity. I already, in 1 hour, the whole meeting was run in 1 hour, which is unusual in many places because in new clubs, sometimes no one knows anything about take 2 hours. And this club was really good on time. And I wish in our real life, in business, we can do meetings in one hour and be able to do many things. Second, I think the energy is here. So try to figure out how to be yourself and create that identity as a new club and being able to project yourself in comparison with other groups in the Bay Area. I have been in other bilingual clubs, in Portuguese, in Spanish, and in Chinese. And I found really interesting how the dynamic between two languages works. And sometimes you don't know what they are talking about, but you imagine, you figure out, you realize. And I think this is a really good potential. I hope you can be successful.
Yes.
Is the meeting here every week?
It is right now, although
We actually have a new meeting location. Like next week, we'll still be meeting here, same time, 7 to 8:30. But we know that this location is very far from the BART station, and we heard a lot of complaints from a lot of people. So luckily, Jenny was able to find a location that is right off the Embarcadero BART station, and we will start meeting at the new location starting on February 1st. And we're gonna change the meeting time from 7 to 8:30 to 6:30 to 8. So we actually, I will actually send an email to all of you guys so you guys will know the new meeting location and the new meeting time. But if you, and we're also going to update Facebook, Meetup and stuff, so not to confuse people. And the new location is actually the New York Live Training Facility.
So basically for right now, you know next week it'll be here and we'll have all the information up for everyone and available afterwards. So yes?
Question. Off the topic of this club in particular, but a question to some of you who seem to be experienced Toastmasters. So do you join a number of Toastmaster clubs, or how do you become such an expert, and then do you leave an old club and join a new club, or you have dual membership?
It depends on the person. So I know some people that are a member of 6, 7 clubs. It doesn't necessarily mean you go every night, because that would be your entire week. But some people like different clubs. So this club has a very niche market. We have the whole Mandarin English thing going on. A number of you might decide this is great for practicing your language skills, but you also want other fundamental Toastmaster skills, and you might decide to join another club as well, and that's fine. Since you asked a question like that, I'm going to bring up money really quick. So when you join Toastmasters for the first time period, you pay $21.55 as a membership introduction fee. And that goes directly to Toastmasters International, and that's the only time you have to pay the fee. So after you pay this fee, if you join any number of clubs, you don't pay this again, but you pay the club membership, which for this club is $45. And that's $45 for 6 months. Those are the only 2 fees involved. Now when you join 10 clubs, you still pay the $22.55 one time, and then the individual club fees as they come and go. I am a member of a club called Rhino Business Toastmasters. I joined that club because I'm particularly interested in running meetings, corporate environment, that sort of thing. So I joined a club that has a lot of people that have those skills and that focus on that sort of thing. And then we have clubs like this where it's bilingual, and I think we got a lot of people coming to this for that specifically. So it's really up to you. We have on the District 4 website a list of all the different clubs, and you can see what's out there, what's available to join. And you can check out as many clubs as you'd like for free and just go see how they are. Check them out 3, 4 times, eventually join one if you like it.
Jeremy, if
Yes.
I may add to that, it's a non-profit organization. I know Tiffany worked very hard to make sure that we were getting space for free, so that $45 every 6 months, that's like one of the lower cost clubs. So that's a very low fee. Also, when you're a Toastmaster, sometimes you can visit clubs that might be closed clubs, like corporate clubs, and different Toastmaster groups, they actually like getting very fascinating, interesting members from different clubs to play a role or be a guest speaker. So by joining Toastmasters, this might be your opportunity to visit some very interesting corporations around the Bay Area who also have Toastmasters clubs.
That's true. So yeah, I actually just came from Twitter. They have a club at 4 to 5 today, and I'm the mentor for that. So I was over there and I ran over here. You can go all kinds of corporations: LinkedIn, Google, Twitter, Facebook, Oracle, Yahoo. Most of them have opened up clubs because they see the value in employee development.
Many corporate clubs.
Yeah, many corporate clubs.
We also have a club very close to Salesforce.
Oh, Salesforce. Okay, great. Yeah, so there's a lot of opportunity for networking too if you want to take it that direction. And as far as pricing goes, my club that I mentioned, the business club, is $120 a month, so this is very, very inexpensive. Do we have any other questions?
So actually, yeah, you
Yes.
mentioned, somebody mentioned that this wasn't, it hadn't actually been, sort of, it hadn't
Chartered?
been registered. Or
Yes,
chartered yet.
yes.
So I guess everybody will let us know when that happens, and then our fees will get, or is it actually fees are due even when it's not chartered?
If you want to join the club, you have to fill out the application, which is short and easy, and then there's the fee involved in it. You want to join now, because if you want this club to take off, we need members to have a club. Right now, we don't have enough members yet, so we're still in the process of chartering. So if you want to stick around, you can join. An added bonus is if you join now, you're a charter member versus just a regular member. Charter membership is only available as the club is chartering. So after this period, there will be no more charter members. And you go down in history in the club, and you're listed in the Toastmasters website. It's kind of cool. I'm not a charter member of anything, so I'll be jealous. Any other questions? Going. Okay. Well, thank you for coming, everyone. We enjoyed your company. And if you'd like to sign up, please speak with one of the officers or someone that you saw speaking tonight. Thank you.
Good.